Hey everyone, welcome back to Great Mechanical Pencils. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most iconic and recognizable drafting pencils out there, the rOtring 300. If you're into lightweight mechanical pencils, technical drawing, or just love that satisfying click and precision feel, this one's for you. I've put together a comprehensive timeline based on catalogs, online archives, and some very serious digging, all visually verified where possible to track its evolution from the early 90s right up to today. We'll cover the old versus the new versions, the availability of different lid sizes over the years, and I'll even take this thing apart on camera to show you how it works. At the end of the video, I have a fix for the lid hardness indicator, so be sure to stick around. In order to get the complete history of the rOtring 300, we need to go back all the way to 1985. In 1985, rOtring released the 500. This was the starting point for their iconic hexagonal body drafting pencil series. Known for its metal knurled grip and plastic body, this workhorse of a pencil is still available today. It comes in several colors, including black, red, dark green, blue, and now white. Sorry to cut in, but I just had to quickly shout out to Hero TV Stationery, my favorite Japanese pencil reviewer. Coincidentally, he just posted a review of the rOtring 500 right when I was making this video. He's renowned for his thorough, unbiased breakdowns that cut straight to the chase, so I'd highly recommend giving his channel a look. Plus, as an extra perk, YouTube's rolled out AI-generated audio for his recent uploads, and honestly, they turned out pretty good. Do yourself a favor and dive into this review once you're done here. Next up, it's 1987, and rOtring releases the 600, which is up a tier in quality from the 500. This all-metal body pencil is an icon even today. And be sure to check out my comprehensive guide to the rOtring 600. I'll leave a link to it at the end of this video. In it, I cover all 8 of the manufacturing changes over the years, which helps you date the pencils in your collection. In 1988, the rOtring 400 is released. This is an all-plastic pencil, down a tier from the 500, and is the basis of the all-plastic 300. This is a very hard-to-find pencil. Coming up, I'm going to have a closer look at the 300 and the 400, and how rOtring reused the 400 model number just a few years later. By 1990, rOtring introduced the 300, replacing the 400 as the entry-level model. This shift from 400 to 300 further distinguished the affordable option from the high-end 600, solidifying rOtring's tiered drafting pencil lineup. Like the other pencils in this series, they come with a full drafting package. They are available in multiple sizes, has a 4mm fixed lead sleeve, and it comes with a lead hardness indicator. Speaking of which, this is the largest complaint with this pencil, and I have a fix for it coming up at the end of the video. In 1993, the rOtring 800 is released. This is based on the rOtring 600 Gold from a year earlier. This is a retractable tip model, and it shares the metal hexagonal body of the 600, however it does not have a lead hardness indicator. In 2014, the rOtring 800 Plus is released. This is an 800 with a stylus on the tip end. The 400 and 300 are almost an identical pencil. The primary differences between the two pencils, aside from the color, are that the 400 includes a lead gem clearing rod and a metal eraser cap, while the 300 lacks the clearing rod and features a plastic eraser cap. But the grip, pocket clip, and internal mechanism all appear to be identical. They also share that crappy lead hardness indicator. The plastic grip on these pencils offers superb comfort, molding your fingers for a relaxed, fatigue-free writing experience. Here are some other pencils in my collection that have a similar plastic grip. And I feel plastic lattice grips like these offer exceptional comfort at a low production cost when compared to other machined metal grips. Their ergonomic design reduces hand fatigue, yet they still remain less popular than metal grips, despite being budget-friendly. I wanted to mention real quick that rOtring reused the 400 model number twice, so that tends to confuse things when you're searching online. The original rOtring 400 was sold from 1988 to 1990. Soon after that, the metallic Tiki Double Push was rebranded in 1992 to the rOtring 400. When you're searching online for the plastic 400, this is the pencil that you will most likely find. That version of the 400 is later rebranded to the rOtring Esprit in 1996. If you'd like to learn more about the entire Tiki product line, check out my comprehensive guide to the rOtring Tiki. I'll leave a link to it at the end of this video. So here's part of the video that has taken me a few months to complete. I put this together from catalogs and using the Internet Archive and a lot of online searching. And I pestered my friends Dux and Bjorn, who are rotring experts, a lot. I mean, a whole lot. Sorry, guys. And by the way, links to the catalogs that I've used are published on the Knocology forum in the catalog section, and there'll be a link to it in the description below. As you can see, the 300 was released in 1990, and it came in 0.3, 0.5, 0.7, and 0.9. These were made in Germany, and the most noticeable difference between these and the later ones made in Japan were the erasers and the eraser caps. And we will be taking a very close look at that here in just a minute. In 1992, the 2mm clutch was released, and it turns out this is the only size to have a continuous production run. 1993 was the last year I saw the 0.9mm until 1999. Also, in 1993, ISO 11540 mandates a hole in the eraser cap to prevent asphyxiation, primarily in children. There is no official record of when rOtring adopted ISO 11540, but as we will see in just a minute, the Japanese-made 300s do include the eraser hole. I would assume this is to be able to sell in the EU, which heavily relies on compliance to ISO standards for manufacturers that intend to sell within the EU. In 1994, the 0.3 models were dropped for the 0.35, making the 0.3 one of the shortest runs and extremely rare today. Another rare size is the 1.0mm model, which was sold from around 1996 through around 1998. In 1998, Newell Sanford purchases rOtring, and one of the first things they did was kill off the smaller size rOtring 300. The 2mm model continued to sell as their clutch offering. And in 2004, Newell canceled the 600, but it was brought back in 2012, along with the 300 in the smaller lead sizes. After Sanford acquired rOtring, manufacturing was switched from the plant in Hamburg, Germany to Japan, but I'm not sure exactly when that happened. The Wikipedia page for rOtring mentions Holbein as one of the manufacturers in Japan, though neither company has officially confirmed this. Another link to Holbein is this. The earliest Amazon listing I found for a rOtring 300 is from Amazon Germany, dated around August 13, 2012. It specifically mentions Holbein and describes the pencil as a Japanese import. So as of 2013, the lid sizes available were 0.35mm, 0.5mm, 0.7mm, and still 2mm. And these are certainly the Japanese-made pencils and can be identified by the hole in the eraser cap, and they have a white eraser. And now for the bad news. It looks like as of January 2023, rOtring once again scaled back to only 2mm, and I was able to confirm this with the guys over at Jet Pens. Rumors online suggest the 2mm model has been discontinued, but it remains listed on the rOtring website, and as of October of 2025, numerous 2mm models are still available online at retailers like Jet Pens, which, by the way, has stated they're unaware of any plans to discontinue the lid holder. Hopefully, this model will remain available and the smaller lid sizes will return soon. And now we're going to do a quick demonstration of the pencil. Here's a German-made 0.3mm. These were only seen in catalogs from 1990 until 1993, and then they moved to the 0.35mm. Notice there's no hole in the eraser cap. Here it is compared to a modern one. The materials and fonts are almost identical, the main difference being the eraser cap, and the German one has a pink eraser. To take the pencil apart, you just unscrew the tip. You can't fully remove the lid tube, and we'll get into that in just a second. Here you can see the pencil has a 3-jaw brass chuck. And here is the white eraser on the newer Japanese model. And as you can see, the internal mechanisms on the German and Japanese version of the rOtring 300 seem to be identical. To save time, I'm going to speed up this part as I step through some German and Japanese pieces in my collection. But while I'm doing this, I wanted to take a minute and thank you for watching. And if you enjoy these videos, please like and subscribe. And if you have a rOtring 300 or maybe even a 400, please leave a comment and let me know what you think about it. And here's another comparison of the 300 models manufactured in Germany and Japan. Both share similar fonts, colors, and the ABS plastic body material. The pocket clips sing identical, and they both feature lid hardness indicators that are closer to a fidget spinner. The internal mechanisms appear to be the same, and their weights are also equal. The only noticeable differences are the eraser cap's hole and the eraser color, white for Japan and pink for Germany. And just like its smaller siblings, the 2mm models also appear to be identical. These are gravity-fed clutch designs, so when you depress the knock on the end, the clutch fully opens, allowing the lid to fall out freely, and then you can adjust it to your desired length. Both the German and Japanese-made pencils come with a sharpener in the eraser cap. To take these apart, start by removing the tip and the clutch mechanism will fall right out. There is a small rubber ring that helps prevent rattles. Try not to lose this. If yours is missing, it may still be inside the barrel, or it may just be lost. If it is lost, a small piece of tape will do the same thing. Also, I've read online that these will fit inside of a rOtring 600 clutch, so if you have a broken one, this may be a good way to get it back in working order. And for you collectors out there, if you're looking for a German-made 2mm model, you're going to have to really take the seller's word for it, or maybe find the receipts or the original packaging to prove it. Otherwise, it's going to be very hard to tell. Wrapping up, the rOtring 300 2mm clutch pencil is feather light, yet it feels solid in your hand. It's perfect for long sketching sessions without fatigue. The ergonomic hexagonal plastic body and grip deliver effortless control and comfort, making every stroke feel natural and precise. If you're after reliable, no-fuss drafting, this one's a quiet winner. Next, we will look at the text on the barrel, and then we'll wrap up the video with how to fix that lid hardness indicator. And here's another look at the German versus Japanese-made versions of the rOtring 300. I couldn't really tell if the typeface on the body was different. If you noticed something, please leave a comment. Hey everyone, I'm kind of breaking the fourth wall a bit here, but this video took an unexpected turn. Right when I was wrapping it up, I stumbled across a Reddit post that showed the proper way to use the lid hardness indicator, making my original fix unnecessary. I spent a lot of time on that solution, even playing around with multiple camera angles, so I'm keeping it for now if you're curious about the process. But to set things right, I'm adding this new segment to show you the correct method based on that Reddit post. It's funny how sometimes the solution to a problem is staring us right in the face, and that's what's going on here with the rOtring 300 lid hardness indicator ring. The ring spins freely, and that has been the pencil's largest complaint. But if you look at how the pocket clip is attached, you can slide it up and down, and sliding it up actually locks the ring in place. Sliding it down allows you to move it freely. This has to be an intentional design choice, and it's unfortunate rOtring does not provide this information along with the pencil. And one thing that may have kept this from catching on is the fact that the pocket clip can be pretty hard to move at first. Usually after a few times it loosens up, but some users have used a lubricant to help. Alright, and that's the proper way to use the lid hardness indicator. And now that you've got the correct technique, if you're pressed for time, feel free to stop the video here. The next 5 minutes aren't essential. They might be useful if you've lost your pocket clip. Otherwise, I don't recommend doing this to your pencils. But if you do stay around for my original solution, thanks for watching. I truly appreciate it, and those extra minutes really do support the channel. Okay, we're going to close out the video on a quick tutorial on how to fix the lid hardness indicator ring. I have the screen frozen here because I need to explain what we are looking at. Somehow I lost the footage. I don't have the video of me taking the 300 apart. Well, it turns out if you pull hard enough on the lid tube, the eraser assembly will pop off and the tube will slide right out. The circled part here is what I'm calling the eraser assembly. This part is force-fitted to the end of the lid tube. It's the middle part that holds the eraser and eraser cap. It turns out you don't have to do this for what I'm about to show you. You can just unscrew the tip and pull the eraser assembly with the lid tube down into the pencil body and out of the way. Now, what you will need to do is remove the red ring. This is a fragile rubber band, and coming up you will see I broke mine while filming this video, but I took it off and on several times. But I'm pretty sure if you are careful, you should only have to do this once and you should be fine. Okay, so on to fixing the lid hardness indicator. I guess I let my secret out a bit ago, but I've had really good results using the blue Loctite thread locker. I wanted to point out this is the blue and not the red, and especially not the clear, which is a CA superglue. The blue is somewhat removable, but usually with heat. And here you can see the indicator ring is spinning around pretty much on its own. Very, very little friction. The stuff is pretty runny, so I'd squirt some on something and then use a needle or a small wire to apply it. You want to get a good bit of the Loctite under the indicator ring. The instructions say this stuff sets up in 10 minutes and is cured in 24 hours. I applied a good amount and let it start to set, and then every 2 to 3 minutes I'd give it a good twist just to break up the bond. I continued twisting it once every about 15 minutes or so for the next few hours. Work it in by twisting it, and you can apply more blue Loctite if it still feels loose to you. Over the next few hours, just give it a twist every now and then to make sure it doesn't bond the ring to the pencil body. Once cured, the blue Loctite, although not fully bonded solid, has added extra material to add the friction needed to keep the ring in place. Over the next few hours, just give it a twist every now and then just to be sure it has not bonded solid. Putting everything back together is pretty straightforward. Start by putting the red ring back on very carefully. You can slide the lid tube in, and then next the eraser assembly. Just push down and it should pop back into place. Then you can screw the tip back on. I wanted to take a minute to mention the obvious, but be sure to keep the Loctite off your hands as best as possible, as it will mar the finish on your pencil. Since rOtring discontinued the smaller sizes in 2023, they will continue to become highly sought after by collectors. Speaking of which, collectors should look for vintage models in good condition, as prices can range wildly. Also, be on the lookout for those pink erasers and holeless eraser caps. So here we are a few days later, and over the last couple days, I have changed the settings several times a day, probably simulating months of actual use, and I'm happy to say the ring functionality has been greatly improved. Here you can see my untouched Control 300 has an indicator ring that will move with even the slightest touch, making it more for show. And here's my test piece. The lead hardness indicator ring now behaves as you would expect. Compared to my Control 300, the difference is night and day. I'd say the resistance now is very similar to the rOtring 600. One thing worth noting is the ring is very thin, so if you pinch it too firmly when you try to adjust it, you may be actually working against yourself. Anyway, this may be useful on a 2mm model, and I would only do this on a 2mm model. Since the smaller sizes are discontinued, I'd recommend you leave them in their perfect, but not so perfect condition. Despite its faults, this pencil was truly great, and I love it for all its quirks. Oh, and there was a casualty during filming. My red ring broke, so be careful when removing and replacing it. Use a small tool like a needle and just take your time. Mine broke after about the third time I removed and replaced it. Thank you again for watching, And I also wanted to thank the members of the Narcology Mechanical Pencil Forum and the Mechanical Pencil subreddit and Facebook groups. And until the next video, good luck with your collection.